Dead Signal Narratives. The Road in Bracken County. I didn't plan on taking back roads that night. I was driving through Bracken County, Kentucky, heading home in my BMW, following the GPS like I always did. It was late, close to midnight. Rain had been falling steadily, the kind that dulls sound and makes the world feel smaller than it is. At some point, the GPS froze. No rerouting, no warning, just a blank screen and a spinning icon. I didn't think much of it at first. Cell service drops out in rural areas all the time. I kept driving, assuming it would reconnect on its own. That's when I made the turn. I didn't realize it was wrong at the time. The road narrowed almost immediately, becoming a single-lane stretch of pavement, barely wide enough for my car. Trees closed in on both sides, their branches hanging low overhead. There were no reflectors, no road signs, no mailboxes. About halfway down, my headlights caught something hanging above the road. At first, I thought it was debris, maybe a tarp. Then I got closer. It was a large teddy bear, the kind you'd win at a carnival. It hung from a noose, tied over a thick branch that stretched directly across the road. The bear swayed slightly in the rain, rotating just enough for its plastic eyes to catch my headlights. I slowed almost to a stop. There was nowhere to turn around. The road was too narrow, and the drop-off on either side looked steep. Backing up that far in the dark wasn't an option. So I kept driving. A little farther down, I saw a driveway on the right. A metal gate stood open, leading into a small yard. It was the only place I'd seen where I could possibly turn around. I pulled in slowly. That's when I noticed the yard. Dolls. Crude, handmade figurines. Stuffed animals. They hung from trees, fence posts, even the porch railing. Some were missing eyes. Others had limbs tied together with twine. None of them looked store-bought. They looked assembled. My stomach dropped. I put the car into what I thought was reverse. Before I could move, the gate swung shut behind me. It closed on its own. Hard. At the same moment, something darted across the back of my car. I didn't see details, just movement. Low, fast, wrong. Every hair on the back of my neck stood up. I slammed my foot on the gas. The engine revved loudly. The car didn't move. For a split second, I couldn't understand why. Then I realized I wasn't in reverse. I was in neutral. That's when the beating started. Something smashed against my driver's side window. I turned just in time to see a dark, frail figure, barely more than a silhouette, holding a massive branch. It was far too thin, too small, to be wielding something that heavy. It swung again. The glass spider-webbed, cracking across the window but staying intact only because of the tint. I don't remember shifting gears. I just remember the car lurching as I slammed it into reverse and backed up hard. The gate had only just closed. When I hit it, it flew open, snapping backward as if it had never been latched at all. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. I drove until the road widened and the trees thinned. The moment I reached the main road, my GPS screen lit up like nothing had ever happened. Full signal, clear route. That's when I realized something else didn't make sense. The rain hadn't changed. It hadn't slowed down or picked up. The road was still wet in the same places. The air felt exactly the same as it had when I made the turn. There was no sign that hours had passed. No fatigue. no stiffness, no sense of waiting. It felt like I had gone straight from the driveway to the main road, like time hadn't moved forward at all, only sideways. The feeling didn't go away. I drove to a gas station a few miles down the road and called the police. Sitting there, I kept checking the clock on my dash. Every minute felt stretched out. Each second dragged. But when I looked away, it felt like time disappeared entirely. I couldn't remember how long I'd been sitting there, only that the rain never stopped and the feeling never faded. When the officers arrived, I told them everything. They asked me the name of the road. I couldn't answer. Thinking back, I realized something that made my stomach turn. I had never seen a road sign. No numbers, no addresses, nothing. Just trees, and that one driveway. The officers exchanged a look. Then they asked if I'd be willing to ride with them and show them where it happened. I agreed. I was terrified, but underneath that fear was something else. Curiosity, like something was pulling me back. We drove only a few miles. I was certain I remembered every turn. When we reached the spot where my GPS had lost signal, I told them to stop. "This is it," I said. There was nothing there. No road. No opening. Just forest. When the officers told me the time, I laughed at first. Not because it was funny, but because it didn't register as possible. They asked me if I remembered waiting anywhere. I told them no. I remembered driving. I remembered the yard. And then I remembered standing at the gas station, calling them. There was nothing in between. One of the officers said that was always the same detail. He told me people never remembered losing the time, only realizing it was gone afterward. He said the road didn't behave like a place you could stay. It behaved like something you passed through. And if you didn't leave when it allowed you to, you didn't leave at all. I looked at the clock. 4:48 a.m. I asked them to take me back. On the drive, I couldn't stop thinking about the missing people they mentioned. I wondered how many of them had looked at the clock afterward and realized they were already gone. How many had stayed just a little too long, and how many were still out there, not aging, not moving forward, just waiting, on a road that only exists when it's ready to be found. The officers dropped me back at the gas station. I drove straight home, and I've never gone back to Bracken County, Kentucky again.